Ladies and gents, welcome back. The Away Day show on a Monday, and you wouldn't believe it, we're all here. It's a big day. I'm expecting 1,000 views in this podcast because we're all come back.
Is that it?
That's tens of thousands.
7:30, nice and early in the morning.
fresh,
Got the crew together.
Yeah, we did it.
Found
we
a
did it this
nice time that
No
we can
one's
all
ill.
correlate together.
No one's down bad. It's all good. We're all good. We're here.
Fit and firing.
Fit and
hopefully.
firing. That's a good word. We're fit and firing.
Exactly.
We're here for another massive weekend. Actually,
Short-term pain for the long-term gain.
number one quote. We were to the quote counter on one of these episodes. Massive weekend, relatively big weekend, a few big games. I think next weekend's going to be bigger with United and Liverpool playing, and we'll see how Chelsea go backing up. But some surprising results, some massive results for the likes of Chelsea and the likes of City. Anything you guys saw from the weekend that want to start the episode by mentioning out or?
Nothing in particular. Probably more so looking at last night's result. Chelsea were quite strong. I think after a disappointing game the first match week, it's good for them to bounce back, especially Maresca, because he would have started to feel the pressure, although it was early on with a second loss in a row.
Yeah, no, I mean, I won't go into in depth early on here like I did last week. I think I was yapping a little bit. But no, my one takeaway from last night's Chelsea game was that I couldn't believe Wolves had more XG. I don't know if you guys saw that.
Had more
No, I didn't see that.
Wolves had 1.96 XG. Chelsea's like 1.4.
They battered them.
And they
1.4,
and
they
they
lost
lost
6 goals.
And they lost, yeah. How mental was that? 6 goals for 1.4 XG. But anyway, that was ridiculous, I thought.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, but that was just something I noted. In general, I think looking holistically at the round, I feel like there weren't too many surprises. To be honest. I feel it seems to be, I was looking at the ladder just before, and it's already taking shape. It sort of feels like all the big dogs are up top. City, Brighton, Arsenal, all the big dogs.
The big
all
guys.
the small dogs on the bottom half, United,
Chelsea.
But in all seriousness, yeah, I think all the big dogs are actually getting results and rather convincingly, and yeah, some of the promoted teams and smaller clubs are finding it hard to get results at the moment, but
tough
yeah,
games,
I mean, look, yeah, Ipswich, for example, can you really get much two tougher games than Liverpool and City away? So yeah, still very, very early days, and some clubs are still getting new players to get into the squad and into the team, hopefully. So yeah, a lot to play out.
I just want to tell, because we won't touch on this game, but I think Newcastle looking pretty unders at the moment. Really subpar last night. I was watching that game as well as the Chelsea game, but as a Bournemouth fan, club member number one over here in Australia, they should have won that game.
I was big on Newcastle too.
Handball was dodgy, I thought. Apparently they've changed the rule now to being the shoulder sleeve. Whereas I'm pretty sure the whole time it's been the sleeve prior to that. So they got lucky.
Wait, so handball is including this?
No, it's now the cuff on the shoulder.
Yeah, so it includes the arm, like this.
No, it
part
doesn't
now.
include, but it used to include that part of it. Now this only includes up to here.
Oh, wait, so what are you saying?
So as a t-shirt, a t-shirt where you got that cuff.
So it's handball or not handball?
So handball now is here.
Yeah, okay.
And not here.
Oh, gotcha.
Whereas previously, which I thought was still the rule, but you could still use, but
as in
you could
like,
hit there. Because it literally, he went to head the ball, and Dan Burns to this, his arm has to raise to get over Dan Burns, so it bumps him there.
Deflects,
And then, unfortunately, I think Bournemouth looked fantastic for large periods of that game.
I think me and you were very adamant that the clock was ticking for Eddie Howe.
Oh, no, I have the same belief. I was just thinking, I just saw it maybe click.
Yeah.
I just thought.
Well, no, it's two games in.
Yeah, and one of them was a red card, and look.
Yeah.
Last night didn't go ideal.
The pressure does get to you, although it's so early on in the season. Like the pressure will get to you, like we'll talk about with other teams.
Yeah,
it can very easily lead to you performing poorly.
Pretty makeshift defensive partnership for Newcastle as well. Like no
Shah,
no Botman, no Trippier starting. Like
I think Trippier ain't a part of the starting lineup anymore. I think Liverpool.
Yeah, they're trying to sell him. Apparently they're trying to sell him.
Maybe, I wouldn't.
He played 21s last week. I saw a clip of him playing 21. So that says something about that. But anyway, that's all I'm trying to say. I think Newcastle, they'll be good, but it's a real shaky start.
It's definitely a watch.
Yeah. So you got shaky. My God. First game of the match week, we finally get an early fixture and we disappoint yet again. Brighton 2, Manchester United 1.
I thought it was 3-1.
2-1.
No, I thought it was going to be 3-1. I buddy saw the comments for that video. Hey, you were getting slandered.
No, you know what, Fever, actually, that's what I want. I want people to fucking come at it and give me what they think. And I thought I was in right mind. I thought we had a great first opening fixture. I thought Brighton were good, but they played Everton. I thought, they really do it again? I tell you what, the pressure all of a sudden comes onto the Magic quickly, and somewhat in a right, because as United fans, we want to see Garnacho and Diallo and McTominay coming on for Bruno Fernandes, a questionable substitution. There's a few things where he's not helping himself, Ten Hag, because in the media they instantly turn on you straight away, right? And especially early in the season,
as a United manager for sure.
You got to be better than that.
Yeah, but is it instant or is it like?
No, he's got his time now.
Is it like years now of mediocrity?
I said, this is his time. He has to shine, otherwise, ciao.
But it's funny though, because you win that game with Garnacho scoring, and all of a sudden it's a greater way of win.
That's
like, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm getting at. And obviously, as you said with Newcastle, it's 2 games in, and 4 or 5 games in, we'll get a better picture of how United's actually season is heading. And don't get me wrong with that. I think if you look at the game as a whole, I think we actually were the better team.
Over the 90.
Yeah, over the 90. We had a poor last 10.
Conceded 3 goals though. Oh, 2 goals. I keep saying this.
2 goals.
Oh, it was Japan win. My bad. Yeah, I forgot.
It was 2 poor position. I'd say 2 poor goals that were just positional. It was really their only 2 chances from the game. If you look at it as a whole, like if this is going to become a narrative of what United's season is going to be, well, we know what Ten Hag's future is going to be like. But I'm hoping that Ten Hag's got this fixation in his head. He makes signings, but it's like you've got to earn it. He did it with Casemiro, and he waited till United got battered by, was it Liverpool or City, when McTominay was starting.
Yeah, I remember that. Casemiro also came in late that window. And
I get that. But he's done the same now, and I get it with Xerxes. He's trying to play. He doesn't have the minutes under his belt yet. So he played 30 first match week, 45. But what I'll say to Preston is, why not play him the first 45 as a starter? And if he's fit enough...
What do you want the lineup to be in that case then?
Well, I think Xerxes should have started instead of playing Mount and Bruno as a false 9 again. I understand
you want Bruno a bit deeper though, and then you want Xerxes at like 9.
Bruno's a 10,
at 9.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
He calls himself a 9.5.
And I understand that Maguire played a very good first match week, and I understand it's hard to drop. But you didn't go sign DeLitt for DeLitt to sit on the bench.
But it wasn't like DeLitt was playing every week at Bayern either. Like
I think there's a false narrative here about DeLitt not playing. He played the Champions League. Like he was playing for them in the tournament they actually were trying to win. He wasn't playing the league because they binned it off after Leverkusen.
I think it's a bit of a cop out though.
But did you watch Bayern?
I would imagine your best centre back would start like it's centre back. It's not like
no. But this is what I keep hearing this. I watched Bayern from post Christmas. They were dog shit in the league. He did not play in the league. He played in the Champions League. They was Real. They took on who they
they versed us as well.
Yeah, you guys. And who was prior to that? It was they had a tough run.
They versed us.
Yeah, they had you in the quarters and they had Real in the semis, and he was a centre back playing. Kim Min-jae, especially the big money centre back, didn't play him.
I'm not saying like
it's not you, but it's everyone.
I just think DeLitt isn't all that. Like I just think there's a reason he hasn't really kicked on. Like it doesn't feel like he's kicked on in his career since Juve, since Bayern. Like it just feels like it's kind of been sideways, and you're waiting for him to like explode into like this world class.
Can I make a comment on that though quickly? I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying.
I think there's a lot of like false aura around DeLitt.
I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying.
He's a former Ajax captain, him chanting when he was 18 years old and stuff. It's like I feel like there's a lot of that around DeLitt.
Really become world class. Like you're at Bayern and Juve, who don't see much defensive action anyway as it is. That's the thing, right?
It sounds like kind of I don't know if that's true though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't see much defensive action.
I'm not going on that.
Bayern have won the last 10 Bundesliga, the 1 year.
So how did Bonucci and Chiellini become two of the best?
They work in the Italian system. They were fantastic in the international scene as well as their club scene.
Bonucci and Chiellini were more well known for their Italy, I'd say.
I think they were well known for being a partnership though. Which 90% of that was at
and they were part of that the year where they were 104 points for Juve, right? When Conte was there, that record-breaking season.
Juve,
but because Juve when it's got 100, it had 104 points in the league. We've never seen anything close to that in.
Can I just make a comment on that? Whether he has been starting, let's say,
you're saying he's probably better than
No, it's even irrelevant. Well, no, that is relevant. Obviously, it's not irrelevant. But my whole point is, Ten Hag didn't sign Mateus De Ligt to sit on the bench.
No, it's a
He
good
signed him to start, okay? Yeah. So whether Maguire played a good game or not, you don't need to do this crap. He's done it every season he's been there. You got to earn your spot. But all that ends up happening is they end up not earning their spot, really. It's like the players that
lose their spot
because something bad happens. It's just like how long until this bad thing's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know,
it's like he's not proactive.
It's like I'm gonna wait for it to come tumbling down, then I'll do it. I'm like, he did the same with McTominay. I was like, yeah, we started off that season and we started having some better games, but it was always going to come tumbling down when McTominay was playing. We've seen enough of him. It's like we've seen enough of Maguire. Maguire was good last week. Okay, really good. But we know from the past that Maguire is prone to making a lot of mistakes, to being quite slow. He also changes that. That's just my point. I actually don't think it was a poor performance by United. If you look at it in terms of like, if us going to Brighton, us going to those better placed middle of the table teams in the past years, you would think that. I think it was a better performance than that. We actually took the lead. We had a lot of chances. If you look at the likes of Ahmed, like, we could have definitely put a lot more in the back of the net. We should have really been 2-1 up.
Yeah, that's what I think. It's not a player's problem. It's probably a manager's problem. Because again, we saw how Brighton. I don't know if it would. Their line was like on the halfway line. That was Hertz bringing Germany to England. It was really compact. It was the three lines are basically within 20 yards of each other. Why then play Maguire if both teams are going to be playing a high line and it's going to be a midfield congested battle? You need someone like Mazraoui and you need De Ligt. Mazraoui set the goal up because he played that reverse ball into the space. De Ligt can play a sort of ball. Maguire's just a hit diagonal sort of play. He doesn't play anything through the spaces. So that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. Players ain't played to what they could do. The system and the selections hurt the team, I feel.
Yeah, I didn't really have too much of a problem with the players. It's just like little things as well. We know that Garnacho is going to start over Rashford. It's another one. It's just like a matter of time. Oh, Garnacho came back late from South American duties, from Argentinian duties, so now we're going to start Rashford. We all know that Garnacho is going to take the spot back off Rashford.
We hope so.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's as much of a given as it might seem to United fans as well, though.
A bit of Ten Hag Star Boy stuff with Rashford. He doesn't look like to drop him.
But it's also, Rashford had a bad year, but it's also like, we know what Rashford's capable of. And at his best, he's, a top 30 player in the world according to Ballon d'Or rankings. So it's like, he's not that old, is he? Like 27, 28?
Oh, like 26.
Well, he's still 26.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's still coming into like the absolute prime of his career, right? So, whether it's playing himself into a big move elsewhere, which is probably more so what it feels like at this point in Rashford's career, like it's probably time to cut ties with United and let Garnacho come through and, try and see what he's capable of. But that's another one where I'm not convinced it's like as...
He's come off the bench the first game, assisted the Xerxes goal. Really should have won the winner.
Yeah. I'm not saying Garnacho is not the guy to take you forward. I'm just saying I don't know if the difference in Garnacho and Rashford is like as clear cut as it seems to be, at least to you.
It's just a different. I think it's more that what we want to play. Like you look at Ahmed, how he's taking on, cutting inside. You saw Mazraoui running the overlap. Garnacho is the same. He's always taking on that player, brings Dalot into the game. Rashford feels like he doesn't bring other people around him into the game. Whereas Garnacho and Ahmed, that's what they do. That was why I was so big on Ahmed this whole season, is because, he might have the output, he might not, but he brings those other players always into the game. Even that's the big thing there. And I think Rashford could be a really good player for us this season, but why not Rashford be that player where he comes off the bench for the last 30 minutes? Imagine having Rashford off the bench for 30 minutes. I think any team, including City and Arsenal, would love that.
Yeah. But
I'll close by. I got two things to close by saying. Like, I think in the Garnacho, Garnacho's just good for 7 out of 10s. Like, he's more of just a consistent, decent player. But Rashford gives you 10 or 0. I feel like on the weekend drops too short. When he's just spinning him behind, mate, Diallo spins him behind him. But that's the thing. But
you can bring him off the bench.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's perfect. But if he's not going to do what we need in the game, why keep him on? And the second thing is a question to you two, because this happens now a lot in the last even 4 years. Is there like the soft underbelly at Man United? Because we've seen it concede a lot of these late goals. Like, this is now.
I think absolutely.
This is chronic at the club now.
No, I think 100%.
From Ole to Eric Ten Hag, how many 97, 5, 4 minute goals?
No, I think that's a result of not cleansing the club out. Like,
Yeah, I agree.
It's so bad.
And I think that's 100% on Ten Hag in terms of, you know, like the fact that, you know, Maguire, I was sort of trying to play devil's advocate before with Maguire, but at the same time, I think he should have been gone a couple of seasons ago. You know, you just need to get that out of the club. You just need to, like, you're bringing in all these new players. You've brought in a couple of centre backs now. Like, get rid of him. Just like, you know, not in terms because he's a terrible player and stuff like that. It's just like, I think it's, you know, he carries over the vibe from the old club, and, you know, like it's just, you want to build it. Like, I look at Arsenal as the prime example. I feel like
your team with the Aubameyang
we used to have. Yeah, we used to have like the softest underbelly. Like, it used to be like, you know, we had no spine. Like, we were always scared of conceding a late one, you know, stuff like that. With Mustafi and all these guys, right?
Kolasinac and all these
now, like even Rob Holding and Callum Chambers and the guys who were like sort of from the youth and never. It wasn't like they started under old regimes and they used to play a role when they came on, but it was just like, you just need to cut ties, you just need to get rid, fresh start, bring in your own rotational players, and we've seen that now. So now our defense is not, like, literally no resemblance of the past teams, right? You know, Kieran Tierney's heading on his way out. So I just think I think United definitely have a soft, you know, underbelly, to use the word.
Yeah.
But I think it's a result of poor list management and to address it, I'm not 100% sure what you need to do at this point.
I think you just need to cull the squad. I think it started this season.
It also needs to come from actually surviving those moments as well.
Yeah,
like, you actually have to be in those moments to know how to, like, that's what a Delid and the Nasser Masraoui and these sort of players should bring across, playing at a Bayern Munich who know how to win games of football and get through it. Just, I knew it was going to happen. I said it to my dad. I said, they're going to score here.
It was the manner in which it happened as well. I could literally feel it happening. There was a dodgy corner given and people falling over. Like, it's but it was just the manner of it as well. It wasn't like a banging long shot.
It was just
like
four guys
where
unmarked at the back.
Yeah, it was a, like, dribbles into the box, has so much time to just dink it over, and how João Pedro is free at the back stick. Like, it's just unbelievable.
Disregarding the sloppy mistakes in that game, because I am even a big advocate that first goal was pretty sloppy. If you look at the defending, Maguire stood there like might as well been a statue in front of Old Trafford instead of on the pitch. Like, but do you think that United has played decently? Like, in terms of, like, if you look at how they played last season to this season, do you think they played a bit more progressive football or not really?
I think I might make a video on it. I think I was saying this with you last week. The lack of system, I'm starting to see what it is. Like, I don't think we're capable of creating chances playing the Arsenal way or the City way, playing through the lines.
Yeah.
Ten Hag has to be. I think this basketball thing that United fans are quoting now, I think that's actually what he has to do to try and win a game. We can't create enough chances playing through the lines, because we were fantastic in possessing the first 45. All of a sudden it stretches, the game goes back and forth, and we have offside goals, we have goals that are disallowed, we have half chances for Rashford, and all of a sudden second half was amazing. But guess what? They had 8 chances themselves. We had 8 ourselves. So that's the only way I can see United creating enough chances and creating good enough chances. And it's been this theme the last 8 years. Is it has to become a basketball
just
game.
a yes or no question to that though. Like, does that concern you? Like, just yes or no.
Because I go to every weekend. If we don't score in the first half, I know I'm due for a heart attack second half, because it's going to be back and forth. We're going to need Maguire on the last line defending or making a tackle.
That to me is just like,
but that's the thing.
So
I picked it up on the weekend.
Does that not come though as you go? Like, you look at Arsenal. If you but can I speak? As he says, if you don't score in the first half, but if you start to, although it won't be every game, start scoring more goals in the first half of football, you'll gain more confidence. And then those games that
it's the lack of identity though. It's the lack of knowing how you're going to score.
Yeah, I don't know if it's identity or just they don't have the ability to break down. And it wasn't even a low block. It was the high line. They couldn't play a high line against a high line. And we've got Rashford, Diallo. You've got Bruno at the false 9.
I don't know if we couldn't play against.
Then why was everyone offside? There's a line there. It's high. Start deep, spin in behind Rashford. That's all you're good at, mate. Spin in, but why are you dropping short? Well, like, we've got a 4-2-4. We should be. Numbers are plenty. Maguire, you're great at crossfield diagonals, hit the diagonal, Rashford make the run.
Yeah.
Like this, in Ole days, we dream of shit like this. High lines, fucking spin him behind, get him behind. Like it's worrying because I've seen. I picked it up on the weekend. The only time we had chances was when we made it a basketball game. That's the only time we can spread the game because we give them chances. Like, okay, if we hope Onana makes a fantastic
And against
save,
good teams,
and then pings this. Onana was the best player on the pitch by a long. His balls to the wingers were fantastic, and the only reason we're getting him behind because Onana was hitting these long balls, and because we're conceding chances to get our own chances, and it's a problem. If you can't score against,
I'd say that was the second half dynamic. The first half,
but that's the point. Do we ever look likely like a good 10 minutes of we're going to score? You know when like the good team at Liverpool, you're like last night, I think it was a half an hour mark. You're like, you're going to score here. Yeah. And then Diaz goes and scores. You're like, because the pressure's just overwhelming. We didn't have any of that. That's what I'd say. Just quick over the next few games, all London sort of game. Palace 0, West Ham 2. A little bit worried for Palace now, especially with Gahey looking like he's out the door. Big game. Who said it? Prime moment Souček's come back. Does anyone say
I missed the chat.
I was like
COVID Souček's
this guy's back scoring goals for fun. They won 2-0, much better from West Ham. Fulham.
As they hit the post again.
Palace looked better as a team, but that's what I'm worried. You can look good as a team.
So you reckon Gay's going?
It sort of felt like the last hurrah, the way it sort of.
Oh, that's that.
And
the
because
whole
Newcastle,
of Palace
what I said with Newcastle,
is that both starting centre backs gone?
Yeah, Anderson and Gay.
And they've got Chatty Real to come from Spain, who's been just chucked straight into the starting line because.
Yeah, it's not looking good. Edouard is just mid too.
Massive chances missed in that game as well.
He just does nothing with the chances. Like last week was the exact same thing.
That's the problem though with it. You got Eze Kamada, especially that guy. He's obviously a little bit underdone.
No Elise.
No Elise. He played that 10. Had Kamada play last week. I think it was impressive, but looked a bit disconnected with the forwards. They brought somebody who would connect in. Well. Edouard is a bit more connected with Mateta, but then he ended up getting the chance.
When he gets the ball, he just does nothing with it. It's just a tough watch.
He gives like Kaku vibes. He just can't. No control, can't finish. So that's tough. I think West Ham look much better as well. By the way,
it's a good win. It's a good win.
Yeah, they still got players as well that are getting game time that haven't even started. Yeah. When you look at the likes of Todibo hasn't started. Mavropanos was still starting.
That's the GOAT though, bro.
The one and only.
Yeah, even the likes of I'm not sure how they're looking if Souček and Rodriguez is their starting midfielders, but they got
Souček keeps scoring.
Where's it when Alvarez comes?
Yeah, but Alvarez was on the bench. I don't know what happens there. They've got depth now as well. It's not even just their starting lineup.
I wish they had this last year when they were in the Euro.
Whoever's either Alvarez or Souček or Alvarez or Rodriguez.
Rodriguez has been pretty impressive.
But Rodriguez is good.
He does the unspoken shit very well.
Yeah.
Just
I think he's like that player that takes him to the next step.
I feel like in terms of continuity in the team and consistent performances, he'll be that guy that just lets everything turn over.
Exactly.
Just want to see a bit more from Bowen, but that will come, I'm assuming, over time. Fulham 2, Leicester 1. They obviously announced, we just sort of there, like Anderson's joined them and Sander Berge, so big signings for them. That sort of fills that Pauline, you got Lukic and Sander Berge there now, so they sort of fill that role. Yeah. Solid enough game. Bit of a back and forth one, but Leicester.
That guy, Smith Rowe.
Good goal. And Fulham look good on the left. Finish. That left-hand side. Smith Rowe would sort of drift out there. They look very strong out there. Need a bit more from the commentary or the near side of the right side of the ground. But that will come, and it's Silva. We said it last week. Like you just back him in. Like you just know you get.
He is a quality manager. And he's shown it now for years and
established Premier League guy, right?
Yep.
Can just do it with like whatever tools he has at his disposal.
It's not that great of a squad, really. It's just solid sort of.
I mean, look, they've definitely made some good signings. Like
Smith big
maybe like 3 weeks ago, it looked a lot thinner than it does now. Yeah. Like Anderson's a good signing.
Thoughts on Anderson very quickly for you
in terms of like
for him for the club.
Yeah, I think I was saying this before we started. It's just a very sideways move, and like I imagine the only incentive was he was getting paid like 15 grand more a week, which obviously adds up. It's a significant amount of money. And I'm not saying it's not worth it. It's just like I'm surprised Palace didn't really match the offer or something because that's all I can imagine that happened. It is such a sideways move.
It could have been many things though. There could have been a falling out.
No, there definitely could have been. And now, I mean, if the fact that Gay is looking like he's going to go out the door is like sort of an alarm bell as well in terms of Palace. Elise's gone. Like it looked like towards the back end of last year they were going to kick on, and now they're just a lot of those players who led them there leaving. So but for Anderson, I mean, it's a sideways move, but so far it's looking like a right one. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Get out of a sinking ship. So to a club which maybe has a little bit more upside now.
And you Fulham as a whole impressed enough so far this season. Obviously,
Yeah,
close to beating United and then
United and Leicester. So they probably got the points you would have expected. But I guess at the moment, as they're still sort of gelling and getting minutes into play, players haven't played a lot. It's you take what you expect, right?
Yeah.
As in, and maybe towards the back end of the year or the middle of the year when they start gelling a little bit more, they might kick on overperform expectations.
Different dynamic as well. Like even little things like Pereira dropping into as a deeper line midfielder.
Different role for
like
him.
for him, you saw him when he played at United. He sometimes played that deeper role. And he wasn't that great at it. So for him to be able to gel with those players behind him, in front of him, like it's not just Smith Rowe coming in as the 10 and that's the only change because Pereira's dropped. So it's really two changes. So they've got to get that continuity.
New centre-back partnership as well.
Exactly.
Like Tim Rain was a stalwart, I thought, and that was a big loss. So, yeah, that'll be good. Anderson coming into that side, that'll be good as well. Leicester, another unfortunate one there. City 4, Ipswich 1. Ipswich were in dreamland after 7 minutes. Sammy Simotic scoring that goal. I gotta say, I thought Edison could have done like more. They got a deflection, like you got a touch on it. I feel like he got bad.
Look, I think it almost looks worse to Edison because he got something on it.
Yeah, and it's
like
trickles like
the position. Like, come on, it's a one-on-one.
It is a one-on-one.
95% of the time, he's not even going to get close to it. The fact that he got something on it, I think it almost makes it look worse because it rolled into the back of the net. But it's like, you take it on the XG of that shot. It's like a probably 0.8 XG shot. So it's like almost a good effort to get something on it. And then, I mean, look, the key takeaway from this game, though, is surely just like Haaland, hat-trick, and
KDB just masterclass.
I don't know if you guys touched on it last week, but Gundo back as well. Like that's only going to enhance that team.
Sorry, did you guys see Haaland's post-match press conference?
No,
he just takes the piss, eh? He does my head in a little bit. He was actually giving such
seen a
smart
match ball as well?
No, I didn't.
Sick of writing
someone goes, I'm sick of writing on these match balls. On the match ball,
definitely Jack Grealish.
So after you get a match ball, the whole team has to sign it. And he goes, "I'm sick of riding on these match balls."
Grealish, I'm sick of riding on
this. Give me a beer, man.
But he just takes the bloody piss the whole time and then smile and it's like, But I'm gonna say this on here. I tweeted before last week's game that I reckon Haaland's gonna score 50 plus Premier League goals this year.
Yeah.
50 plus.
Yeah.
Cold
start, man. Cold star's got 4 and 2. I'm telling you, I think this guy.
That's huge. I'd say 50 plus.
I think this guy, and we're touching it in the most important players. I think this guy is, I think he's ready to explode into like Ballon d'Or level player. And I know it's just Ipswich, but like he was still more clinical in that game than he has been last year. It was more signs of the year before, and now he's 2 years older. Yeah, that turn from the outside of the box.
And that second goal? Was it second goal? He touched it past Muric and the angle was very tight.
Oh, yeah. Just make sure it goes in.
Finish it off.
Yeah.
Like
but it was more so for me the third goal. It was like...
spin.
Yeah, like we hadn't really... He's up to this point, he's been pretty much just in the box.
Yeah, Fox and box and stuff, yeah.
But he is like... If you remember back to his Dortmund days, his finishing is unreal, man.
Drills him like.
Like, let's let him have a ping and they're just going to go in more often than not. So... I reckon we'll start seeing a bit more of that.
Yeah, I think as well, he'll be looking back at his last season. And although he still won, obviously, the Golden Boot.
He was not clinical.
He wasn't. And I think he would be very, very critical on himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he'd look back at that and he'd go, you know what, we didn't win the Champions League. We let Arsenal into the game way too easily. And then he'll also look at all like the slander he's got from all the big games. I could see definitely what you're saying is true. 50 goals, I think is. Well, I think that's excessive. But if you told me 40 plus, I'd say yeah, definitely.
My other thing about Haaland is that I think it's kind of hard to gauge, but I think he's got that internal drive to like want to achieve like massive success.
Definitely.
But also and I think looking back at his last season. So I think he slightly underperformed his XG, right? So I think he had like 28 XG and he scored like 27 goals, right?
Yeah.
A player like Haaland is normally a type of player who will outperform their XG by 5, 10, right? So it's in like, he'll be looking at that and thinking, not obviously the numbers on like face value, but as in he'll be looking at the chances he missed last year.
Yeah.
And they were literally chances you would like bank on him scoring. Like prime sort of Lewandowski areas, prime just like
Well, that's what Haaland is.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like he is a finisher. And I think I can just see him this year, just putting everything away. And I think we saw that last night. I think we sort of saw that a little bit last week too. That was a pretty cool, like calm, collected finish.
Yeah.
And I'm expecting to see big things from this guy this year.
I'm very impressed with City because we always say they start slow. They've started strong.
Yeah.
And the thing about Haaland, which I don't know what podcast it. I don't know. Maybe with Nathan. With City at their best when they finish games off early. They get it done early. They get it done by half an hour.
Was it 15 minutes?
They
conceded and it was still 15 minutes.
Yeah, and they still went on and did
3-1, I think, in 16 or 15. Yeah.
De Bruyne, and I went the rogue shadow going, I don't know if it's rogue or not, but I said De Bruyne will be easily player of the year this year. And I had
Bit of a rogue shout.
Yeah, because it feels like he's past that.
Well, I feel like he was almost out the door anyway.
Yeah, and it's sort of, and I had this, I don't know, this inkling this start of the season of that it'd be a Erling Haaland, De Bruyne better than the original season sort of year.
Yeah.
And it's sort of panning out that way. And I just think, like you said, Haaland's internal motivation is through the roof. We see the guy, he's psycho.
He wants it. He feels that way.
Pep, if it is the last dance, like they're going and going forward. And the way they're just finishing games off quickly and early, this is like that sort of back end of Aguero type where they were just cleaning teams up 3-4-0 by 40 minutes and then they just park it up
If
for the rest of the game.
Pep doesn't win the league this year, do you reckon he still goes?
Was that an excuse? He wouldn't make an excuse, would he? He probably would stay one more time, do another round.
I think in Pep's mind, he has to leave on a high, right?
Yeah.
So I think
he's not an excuse guy. He would want to be finished
so. Like
high.
say, if Arsenal win the league this year, do you reckon Pep stays? I reckon he does.
And that means everyone else stays in the league, like De Bruyne and all these guys.
Oh, jeez, De Bruyne already wants out. I wonder if he goes again.
But do you reckon the pull of Pep must be ridiculous?
Pep's
City will pay it.
Yeah.
Pep's interview after beating Chelsea. I've got no motivation.
Right. But yeah, you have to take the context.
I know.
Pep, no context quotes are hilarious.
There's some.
It's like, we'll wait till the last month of the season, then I might have motivation.
The mind game. It's all mind game.
He's an unreal manager.
He's nuts. Well, quickly before our first list, we'll go through Southampton 0, Nottingham Forest 1. We all watched this game, one of the best of the weekend. This had me on the edge of my seat from the minute one. No, Nottingham Forest 1-0.
Cold result, man.
Gibbs White bags, and that sort of sums up that sort of team. It was actually wasn't that bad from Forest. Southampton.
I don't think I laid one eye on this game.
Yeah,
the 9-minute highlights.
Sorry to all the Forest fans and Southampton fans out there. I'm sure we got lots of them watching.
Next week we'll get you guys. That's right.
Yeah.
All right, the big second this week is every team's most important player. Let's just say it from the top. It's not their best player. It's not their, I don't know, Gundogan type player that comes in. It's just who we see is important for this team going forward.
And look, like little caveat, I think some of us want to not do the exact same
player.
I
tried.
But then again, it's like for the most part, I think they're all pretty
obvious, isn't it?
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Only a couple clubs have a little bit.
I'll get us kicked off with Arsenal at the top. I've just gone Saka for the reason there's no striker still, and like we saw against Wolves, and like we said, and we talked about high heaven over last week, when you need a goal, when Arsenal need a goal right now, you feel like it's Saka, the one that'll come up, little cut inside. Yeah. Even the weekend, without scoring, he still set both goals up, and it's him keeping the ball in from the bar line. Second goal, great cut back. In the end, it sort of bobbles around.
Almost scored too.
And good effort as well for maybe Martinez. So he's always involved. He's pivotal, and he plays 38 games.
Yep.
So all of that combined, Starboy energy as well. This guy's clear. He's the most important for Arsenal.
I got on Saka as well, and my only addition to that would be is that maybe this time last year I would have said Saliba.
You're saying,
but we have now added significant depth to our defensive line. As in we essentially have two signings in Calafiori and Timber because they're both back. Yeah. So it's like now I think we can cover that defensive area more so than where I feel like if Saka goes down, I don't know who we're going to play on the right. So it's like, we can make something work, but as in his output just gets so like underappreciated, and he's, as you said, you nailed it. He just provides so much to that team. So I've gone Saka.
I've got Mikel Merino.
That's very good. I'll give you that.
Where'd you go?
I got Odegaard.
Okay.
That's a valid.
With Smith Rowe.
Reason that he had a great season last year, don't get me wrong, but he didn't have that output he had 2 seasons back.
And which I was expecting. I was hyping that up.
On the weekend.
Oh my God.
So in my opinion, we've seen Saka, and obviously he's got to stay fit, as you said, because the drop off between Saka and whoever would play there would be quite significant. But I feel like now we've seen from Saka, we've seen from Saliba, we've seen from Rice, what you're going to get each week. You know what you're going to get from Odegaard as well. He gives you a 7 out of 10, even 8 out of 10 performance. But I don't know. We need now those performances to be with the output that we know he has in him.
He must have demons, man. He must. How can you be like one of the best ball players in the world and like be one of the best people with ball at your feet? He just can't put the ball in the net, bro.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, though. So like,
no, I agree. I 100% agree.
He has he's like such an important part of that Arsenal like link.
On transition, he's like the most important player in the team.
Link between the midfield and the attack. But I think if Arsenal are going to challenge City and take it to that next level from last year, because
to win the league,
to win the league. Because if you look at the team, obviously they've signed Marino, but in terms of their starting 11, like maybe he starts, I don't know, but in terms of their starting 11, it's the exact same. So he's looking at players now taking. It might only be 2 or 3% because of how well they performed last year.
That's all we need, though, to close that gap.
How well they performed last year. We're not talking about 10% increases from players, but it might be that 2 or 3%. And it's now about Odegaard. Okay, you were more consistent this year with your performances probably than last year, but then you had more output last year. Can we get those two and combine them? If that happens, I think Arsenal win the league.
That's pretty fair.
The other thing about that as well, really, really quickly, is that if Odegaard adds output to his game, then it changes the way... It changes the threat of our front as well. So exactly. So suddenly you want to close down Odegaard a bit more, which will in turn allow him to make those little dinky passes and open up space.
Villa, I try to go rogue because I wanted to put like a Rodgers or like a McGinn, but I went with Emi Martinez because I feel like once Champions League comes around, you know, players become fatigued and you might get some more chances. We saw that little downturn a little bit last season where Tottenham battered them up at Villa Park, I'm pretty sure that day. And I feel like Emi Martinez throughout the season will have to make some big saves.
Yeah.
And we sort of were joking about the effort he made on the weekend for Partey's goal. But yeah, at his best, he's still probably top 3 keepers in the world, right? Yeah. Like, and I feel like with fatigue and rotation and maybe especially in Christmas time and over January, if they try and compete and go into the knockouts out of the Champions League, they're going to need some big performance on the weekend from a defence led by Emi Martinez. He's the captain. And I just feel like it's not an obvious one, but if he plays well this season and Villa defend well, it sort of allows him to go and play that free-flowing attacking football. So they might have to sit in at times this season. Everyone sort of hinted at it's going to be dodgy at points this season. Yeah. When it is dodgy, you want that stability. Number 1 world keeper, Argentinian type Emi Martinez. And I think it's not the obvious shout, but it's definitely a valid one as the season goes deeper. So I went him as most important.
I went John McGinn.
Yeah.
And this was more so on the basis of that. I almost went Onana, but he's new, whereas McGinn's the one who's been there. He's been there for years now. He's been there when they were stinky, and now they're at the top. So it's like, or towards the top. So you expect with no Douglas Luiz that's just going to make his minutes even more vital to that team. And yeah, I just think that for Villa to be successful in all formats of all the leagues they're playing in this year, they're going to need McGinn to be at his best, stay fit, and play a lot of minutes, but be as reliable as he has been in the past, and almost maybe continue some of that output he showed last year.
Yeah, goal enough, yeah.
I've got Watkins. Very simple one.
We'll probably two.
We'll try and too much.
Two hips up.
Very simple for me. I just look at Villa and the players you named.
The reason they didn't get points last night.
Are going to be a paramount to them, succeeding this year. But if you look at Watkins realistically, if he doesn't have another season like he did last season, or at least close to it, Villa don't succeed this year.
Yeah, pretty dodgy. Yeah.
That's as simple as it goes. Yeah. When you look at the likes of McGinn, he can be slightly off, and I feel like there's still some sort of cover
gaps. Yeah.
Cover. Even Martinez. Don't get me wrong. Martinez can't be dreadful, but if Martinez didn't have the best season known to man, I feel like Villa could still be doing something. If Watkins doesn't score 15, I'd say, and have at least 10 assists, I don't see how Villa do well in the Premier League this season. And that's probably even...
It's probably the easiest A to B.
Who did Villa versus in the first week? Forgot.
West Ham 2-1. John Duran to win that one.
They also
Yeah, he was supposed to be
but
at
he got
West Ham.
dragged. Yeah, so
Yeah. It's tough because he was injured in pre-season, so I'll give him leeway. But gee, some of the misses were...
Watkins was like literally the reason that didn't get anything out of that.
Because they got 2-0, different story that game altogether.
100%.
Bournemouth, I kept my hipster hat on here. I went with Lewis Cook, who didn't play match day 1, played yesterday. They look fantastic with him in their team. They've signed these young kids in midfield, but I just reckon the old heads, Christie and Cook, for me, are the best midfield for Bournemouth to go with. I think Iriola saw that last night. Hopefully he starts more games. But since taking a key eye and investment in Bournemouth, this is the guy that stood out to me a lot. He's a bit older, but I still feel like for them to hopefully climb the table now that Ivan Allison's there and they've got a little bit more structure last night, they look really, really good at home. I think Lewis Cook's still the key for them in midfield, so I've gone with him.
I went Semenyo. So pretty much
Anchor.
just like no Solanke. We're gonna need to increase that output and they're gonna need to find goals somewhere and almost got the winner last night. So yeah.
Almost won that one.
I got Neto.
Neto. Even though he might get chucked number 2.
Sounds like Neto might be. You told me.
Well,
this.
I said yesterday. So if Mamadash really ends up coming to Liverpool, who goes to Bournemouth on loan?
Yep.
Apparently they're linked to Ramsdale, and there's someone else linked to as well. Oh, Kepa on loan as well.
Yeah.
So is that not a sign they're trying?
Not
to
sure,
him?
but I think he was good 2 seasons back. Probably not as good last season.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
And I think he will be important for them. Or that maybe I should have more gone the goalkeeping position
in general. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if he can pick up his form, is he still captain? He was captain last
still
season.
captain,
He's still captain. He leading from the back. I think if he can have a season like he did 2 seasons back,
they're happy with that. Yeah.
it will be really important in taking that next step for Bournemouth, especially probably considering they're not going to have the output up top. Hopefully they can be a bit more defensively sound.
Yeah.
Fast attacks.
So yesterday I was like, Brentford, I don't know if it was a clean sweep. I went Brian and Burmo.
Yeah.
I went Burmo
I went as well.
Cool.
It's pretty obvious this team.
Yeah.
They're a good team. They just got a lot of average players everywhere, and Burmo looks like their best player by a long way.
And it sounds like it looks like Tony's got absolutely no play.
He's Saudi. I think it looks like.
I don't know what's happening with him, but he doesn't look involved.
Blokes trading Real like
Having bloody interviews, man.
Please sign me.
Oh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's working for him.
Brighton. I think it's Matt Weaver for the new signing in central midfield. Because Gilmore should be going to Nap, or I don't know anymore
it's
now.
done.
But I think he could still be going. I think Napoli are desperate.
I heard Fabrizio said that
Gilmore's
Napoli aren't even in talks with Gilmore anymore. So unless they're going to pull the talks back on. Like,
in the first game, probably Brighton's best player outside of Minte. So important for that midfield. We see they've lost every midfielder the last 2 seasons. McAllister, Caicedo, both gone. Basuma's gone. He fills up the next iteration of those great midfielders. Good holder, capable.
Who have you said?
Weaver, the Dutch midfielder.
So he didn't play.
He didn't play in the weekend. Got ill in the
He
week.
wasn't in the squad.
No, he played in the first match week versus Everton.
How to spell his name?
Wief.
Premier League app is
who
that
have you
stinky,
got?
man. This app is terrible. I've gone Billy Gilmore.
Yeah, voucher.
So
yeah,
for the reason
Same
I
sort
was
of
thinking
reason.
about doing that. Yeah.
like if he's as in if he stays, then I didn't realize he might be going. But if he stays, then I just feel like he's the one that needs to sort of live up to that potential a little bit more. And in a midfield which is aging and pretty new as a whole, no more Pascal Gross in there, and it's just like he just needs to step up and be consistent, be reliable in that midfield, and then I think from there you can allow like Matoma and Adringo and all these guys to sort of have a bit more flair, put a few goals away, but just needs to be solid in that midfield.
Yep. I've gone Veltman.
Good shout. That's
Yeah, so the reason I've gone then, obviously Brighton play a specific way. I think the way he plays, he's really important to them, what they do further up the field. I think it's a bit like what we talk about other teams, just that high line they play, him being able to also, that transition between defence and attack, I think is really important. I think if he doesn't play, for example, if there's an injury or something, I'm not sure if they will be able to play that same way. I think they really do depend on him, especially like quite quick, quite good in transition. That's Brighton for you. If he, I'm not sure if who would even be who's the bench centre back?
Adam Webster.
Yeah, they forgot Manuel.
Adam Webster's good.
He's versatile as well.
Yeah.
So they're both very versatile.
Is it? Yeah, they used to play with three. They play Veltman on one of the fullbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Van Heck playing now at the
Van Heck,
fullback. I don't know. They all
Yeah, I
just
don't know what's
rotate.
happening
It's
there.
crazy that back four. But yeah, that's a valid shout
Yep.
because they were a bit stinky last year without him. Chelsea, I went Palmer.
Yeah, Palmer.
Last night was ridiculous.
I didn't go Palmer.
He's got the chai latte out. He's been hipster.
Yeah, and look, partly because for the sake of the video.
For the segment. He's done it for the segment.
I just think that with Palmer, he still had so much output last year, and they still didn't make any any real dent in the league position, right? So it's like, I think you need more than that, right? I think there's something else is needed there, and I've gone for Finer because it looks like he's going to be, like lock in centre back with either Colwell or whoever else we're playing with. And he didn't touch the pitch last year and only played 15 games the year before. So it's like if they can get some stability from the back and build upward from that, and then let Palmer do his thing with a little bit more freedom around him, then I think that'd be just as important for Chelsea's season as Palmer getting output himself.
Yeah.
So that's my only reason.
Fair enough. That's fair enough. Different. We need something different, which is fair enough.
Yeah.
But Palmer speaks for himself though.
Yeah,
I don't think that we need to talk about Palmer, do we?
Yeah, no.
Palace next. But considering everyone's leaving, the only one that looks like he will stay is Adam Warden. I've gone with him.
Same.
Cog in midfield. Him and Will Hughes, the white man duo in there. They are.
Oh, so who'd you go from? Palace?
Adam Warden.
Warden.
Oh, okay.
Him and Hughes are absolute shit hours in there. They're awesome. Warden, he's got that Kobe Miney type mould. Can dribble on the ball, drive the ball forward. Makes Palace look so good in the counter attack because he's that first pass out and they can just spring the attack. And he's the only one staying, it looks like. So
Yeah, I think
he's super important for them.
You saw in that practice match what he did for England and the quality he has. Like, he's only destined in the future for a big money signing to one of the big clubs.
Big six coming.
Yeah,
Probably the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, probably the way Palace is going, but yeah, I think he'll be really important, especially with that midfield. You saw what he did in the back end of last season.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, so hopefully he'll be able to be consistent and continue that form, even though the players around him still aren't there, which actually does make it difficult when you're that player with all your great players around you, because even though he is that transition between defence and attack and those quick counter attacks, it's a lot easier when you pass the ball to Elise. Than you passing the ball
Edouard.
And you're getting it off Buddy Anderson and
exactly.
Gaggy. It's a bit different, yeah. No, that's a very important point because he's going to have his work cut out defensively this year, you'd feel like.
I initially went Gay, but then sounds like he's leaving, so I'm just going to be pretty easy and go Eze.
Yeah.
Like they literally they haven't scored.
Yeah.
So it's like, and that's a result of disallowed goals, hitting the crossbar, just like a lot of unfortunate luck, mainly through Eze. So it looks like it's going to be absolutely pivotal for Eze, for them to get points. He's going to need to have some goal contributions.
Yeah.
And pretty simple. So, yep.
I've already lost the ladder predictions already after 2 weeks. Palace going to be very low. So, I'm stitched up. Everton, I went Pickford. Do you guys know Pickford?
No.
Okay, so
No, I didn't go Pickford.
I went Pickford, maybe a bit reaction on the weekend. I think made 6 saves in the end. Still lost 4-0. I'm still very big on them being one of the worst teams in the division, in terms of the.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They've got some names. That's not good.
You have them to be relegated.
I have them to be relegated.
Yeah, me too.
Right now, I'd like to look at Ipswich more than Everton, even though Ipswich have played the two top teams. I just think Everton are so far off it, so leaky at the back. And I was going to say there's something at the top of the show. And this sort of goes against my point from last year, but if you can't play out from the back, don't bother playing out from the back. Just give it up. And I think they're trying to catch up. Their squad's not good enough to catch up. I think you need to do something just to get some points somewhere. I know it's Tottenham, but opening day of the season to a new Fabian Hertz at Brighton side, getting slapped up, getting a red card, it's just not a good sign. And I think it's going to get really, really dangerous come Christmas. So
I've gone to Corey.
Yeah, it needs to lift, yeah.
And I think that's purely off what he did last season, got them enough points.
Early started, yeah.
Got them enough points to
banked a
then
few.
save them. And I think you're going to need something very similar this season. I'm not sure. I think maybe the bottom three teams, the three teams that got promoted could get relegated. So that could be their saving grace once again. But apart from that, I would even look at the teams around them. We talked about Forest and stuff. I think they're worse than Forest. So if you look at them, they would be the main candidate from the teams that were playing Premier League football last season to go down.
Yep.
And I'd say if you could get some output out of Decore for a 6 to 10 week block, maybe
last year.
let's say a 10 week block, try in that 10 week block to get 18 points or something.
Yeah.
Something like that. It'd be
enough to say.
because there'll be times in the year where they go 10-week blocks and get maybe 3 or 4 points. So
yeah, feels like that.
I went DCL.
Yeah,
but I don't even think it's that fair because like if they're gonna leak goals like 3 or 4 goals every week and it's gonna get one shot a game, then like there's nothing he can do. But on the basis that they do tighten it up a little bit defensively, which they're supposed to be good at,
that's their job.
and there's a few 0-0s, they're down 1-0 or it's 1-1 or whatever. They're going to rely on him being clinical up top to try and scrape a few points throughout the year. So if he can stay fit, when he's fit and firing, he's a Premier League quality striker. But it's been a while since we've seen that. So it's just if they can stay in games, maybe DCL.
Did anyone consider Tarkowski?
I did. No, I did. Yeah. I just thought that. Yeah, no, it's a very good shout. I think it's more of a defensive unit.
Yeah, the whole team. Yeah, that's fair enough. Fulham, I went Anthony Robinson, best player. All the attack came on the left-hand side against Leicester.
Yep.
I still think he's probably one of the better left-backs in the league right now with Andy Robinson's come back around, so he's probably around that mark, but definitely top 3, top 4, I feel like, in the league.
He's had a real bloody increase in reputation, Anthony Robinson, in the last season.
And I feel like because of Copper,
heavily United.
It's fair enough. Because of Copper as well, and being in America, they all perform shit other than him as well. The eyes were on him there, and in Fulham, a lot of those star names sort of Paulinho and the like of left.
He's also got like bare pace.
Yeah, and FIFA tax.
Yeah, legit.
He's been really
American
really
pace, FIFA tax. Like.
He's got it all. I think he's really dangerous and really good defensively. Like you think he's just attacking because of the speed he gets in the flame, but he's actually really good one-on-one.
That's what I was more impressed with him last year about was like his ability to lock down because he's just quick and reasonably strong on the ball and he's good one-on-one.
He owns that left-hand flank at Craven Cottage, so I've gone with Anthony Robertson.
I've got Andreas Pereira.
Yeah.
And I think he's really important. I think there's like they've like sold Paulinho, brought in Smith Rowe, and it's just like everyone's moved down a step, but it doesn't. The thing is, they don't have that real like stored in front of the defence anymore.
Oh, Sanderberg will do that now, though.
You think so, yeah. Or Sasalucci.
But at the time of writing this...
Day 12.
No, but either way, and Andreas Pereira is going to play, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Well, I think Silva likes him, So
so Silva likes him. He's going to play that 8 role. He's probably more an attacking player, so I think they're going to need to see a lot more defensive output from him. So if he can do that, I think it will be a big step in Fulham.
I went Smith Rowe.
Success this season.
Yeah.
Probably a fair bit of pressure on him considering he hasn't played for essentially 2 years. But if Smith Rowe can perform at what we know he can do, his output this year could be like 12, 13, 14 goals, even potentially more if he plays week in, week out. And I have up to like 25 goal comps, I reckon, this year. That's what Smith Rowe built his name on, was being clinical and being a finisher and just having direct output. You think of the games against Spurs and stuff a couple of years back. And if he can channel some of that and continue being clinical and just do what he did last night or 2 nights ago, then I feel like that'll take a lot of the pressure off, the players around him to get output and let them sort of just let a Silva team
do what they do best.
Just do what they do. Yeah. Just get results.
Yeah.
Some weeks they'll concede 3 and lose 3-0. Some weeks they'll beat good teams 4-3. So I just think he's just gonna have to be pivotal in them getting output.
Yeah, fair enough. Ipswich next. I went the captain, Sam Morsey. Big last year for them. Really good opening day versus Liverpool. Tough versus it's Man City. I can't really rate him on that, but I think he's the heart and soul of that team. Gets on the ball, presents no matter what, and you sort of need that in teams that come up. That was like what the Ross Barkley was to Luton, like someone that always wants the ball and can get the ball for the players. And I think with a really inexperienced backline, I didn't realise Wolford and Greaves are both signed to the club this year as well. So you've got a totally inexperienced backline. Someone to just give the ball to under the pressure and him to receive and turn. And he's really strong. He can avoid challenge. I think it'd be so important. Really impressed him last season. Obviously, the spotlight was on Leif Davis and Omari Hudson. But this year, I think a lot will be on him because they have to defend, right? They have to actually sit in a little bit more. And I feel like as a captain as well, be pivotal. If they're going to stay up, he's going to be incredible, I think. So that's my...
I've got Calvin Phillips.
fair enough.
It's a good
I
call.
always forget he's there.
Yeah,
he still hasn't
I
played.
think he's going to be really important. He's a player that's played at the top level, played Premier League, especially with that team who I think there was a stat from them match week 1 squad. There was one player who had played a Premier League game prior to match week 1.
Who started? Or
Yeah,
just
who
in general?
started, I
Who
think.
started because Ben Johnson came off
Because
the
Jensen came
bench.
on with that.
Yeah,
ridiculous
but he had more
stat.
combined
Yeah.
Premier League
And
caps.
everyone.
Yeah, so there was someone that started. I'm not too sure, and he's going to be pivotal. If he can somehow, I'm not sure if it even is in him anymore because it's so long ago, find his form that he had at Leeds.
Get some legs again.
Yeah. Like he can get to that level, how he was playing at England, how he was playing at Leeds. I think it'll be really important with Ipswich, especially with, as you said, an inexperienced defence. If he can sit in front of them, free up other players, I think it'll be really important. And it could be the difference. Literally, Calvin Phillips playing like he did at Leeds or playing like he did in the last 2 years. That difference could be the difference of them staying up or not.
I genuinely reckon, yeah.
Really random quick point on that. I love the ruthlessness of the Premier League compared to other leagues in the world. Like regarding Calvin Phillips, being out of shape and stuff. Yeah. Like the reality is that is your job.
Correct.
Like, and to be at his very best, to perform the way he knows he can perform. He wasn't in prime condition at City. So
that's a tool. Like you wouldn't want to trade coming out without his
it's
spanner
like,
or something. Like
no, genuinely. If you're like an Excel, well, if you're like a finance bro
and you bring a computer,
you can't use Excel. Like what's the point of being there? Like, just go home, man.
Yeah, like that's
a
tool.
If Calvin Phillips can't
you
cover the
shape
ground,
is your tool. Like it's
100%.
something you use.
That was
100%.
him. That was a whole Leeds team. They had to be fit.
Yeah. So I thought that's something I can. The AFL's gone really soft in that.
I agree.
So it's something you can really appreciate. And Pep even spoke outwardly about it. So I just thought it was something which is pretty cutthroat, but it's the reality of the game. Anyway, I've gone Graves.
It's their job, yeah.
I've gone Graves.
Big shout, yeah.
So
huge match.
Thought he looked really good last week against Liverpool.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that, really tough couple of fixtures. And I know they conceded 4 goals, but look, it's Man City at the Etihad.
Good luck. Inform Haaland.
Better teams than you will get battered there this year.
And
don't
by
stress.
more.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think as you said, they're going to be on the back foot a lot more this year, and he's going to have to be pivotal to make sure they can somewhat hold up against better teams.
Absolutely.
Getting excited for a Southampton 9-0.
Back it up. Leicester, I went Abdul Fatawu. Key for them last season. Still don't reckon they have a striker. They need goals. He's going to give them goals.
Where did I go? Okay.
And he had a really good assist for the first match as well. Really, really impressed with that. So he'll be their key player. I don't think James Vardy's got it in his tank. There's only so many Red Bulls you can drink to score so many goals. So and Fatawu is their key player going forward.
Yeah, fair. I went Harry Winks.
Yeah.
Man, like Harry Winks.
Prem talent.
Prem proven. Was a starter for many years for Tottenham.
He was.
Who were, top... I don't know if they were top 4.
Wasn't really a starter for many years, but he played minutes.
He played in the Champions League final, starting.
Did he?
Yeah.
Well,
Did you find... That's crazy.
Yeah, he had to search that.
No, I didn't. I could be wrong here.
He's just come out.
You should have just firmed it.
Yeah, you
just firmed it. Yeah. While you're searching that up, I've gone Bobby Deacwood over Reid.
Yeah,
so just really, really quickly.
Yeah,
and actually, like...
That he's proven.
Yeah, he's like an actual Premier League player who has just gone sideways or maybe slightly backwards this year. But yeah, he'll be pretty important to what they do in terms of just scoring goals.
And he's getting goals, man. He's desperately goals.
So that's a pretty quick one.
He did. He started.
Harry Winks started Champions League
As if
final.
off the dome, you knew that. That's that's
like Harry Winks.
Established Premier League.
Yep,
he's
started.
established.
Came off in the 66th minute. Harry Winks.
It's a classic when they're already losing.
Yeah, they're losing 2-0.
1-0 that.
All right, 1-0.
Who do I have now?
Liverpool.
Oh, Liverpool. VVD. I think it speaks for itself.
I thought we were sweet.
Yeah, there was a couple other.
You went VVD?
I didn't go over there. I thought we were going to have all the same player.
I think there was a couple other players. You probably went Salah, obviously.
Yeah,
I didn't.
But yeah, VVD, looking at it, I think he needs another strong year. It looks like Joe Gomez is going, probably that depth. Even Zan Vandenberg.
He's off as well.
Yeah, he's off as well. They don't seem to have too much depth. If he gets injured, I'm not sure.
It's Quanta and Canada, and that's not very good.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. So, I don't know. I think he's going to be important. He had a better season last season after probably a poorer one 2 seasons back.
Yep.
If he can continue and maybe even take that next step up again to what he was, because he's probably now been injury free for 18 months, 2 years.
Yeah.
Big chunk, yeah.
It's the time. Like, obviously, he's getting on, but we know what VVD is capable of. Like, he was pretty good player last season, if not probably the best centre back in the comp last season. So if he can at least maintain that level, or take it back to his like 2019 level, it would be really good to see. But we know with his injuries and stuff, if that happens, I'd be very concerned for Liverpool.
Yeah, I went Salah. I thought we all would have Salah, but no. I just thought for the reason of last season, I was big on them, I was riding them, and when he stopped, they stopped. It sort of just felt that way. Yes, there's a little bit more continuity, but again, because right now everyone's fit. But when Diaz and Jota inevitably go down, because they just do go down, you need Mo Salah there to score you consistent goals. He always starts season off well, it's great, but can you do it now, the back end of the year, those last sort of 8-9 games, because that's when maybe historically Sadio Mane would be the one to do that, because I always saw Sadio Mane as a more clutch player.
Last year he really disappeared. So.
Yeah, and I think that really hurt. They were there. They were top of the table, and they just fell to third.
But we said this though.
We were saying it all season.
I'm back at it.
It's only coming.
Elephant on the tree, mate. No.
That's how I went most Salah.
So I've gone Jota.
Yeah.
And on the basis, can he stay fit?
Yeah, it's fair.
And how important it would be to them if he does stay fit.
Like
We've already seen. Like, what did he have? Two goals. I think he had a goal and assist last night. No, he had a goal last night. Had an assist last night. He had an output last night. Yeah. Same thing the first week. So it's like, we know this guy's insanely clinical and gets very good numbers when he's on the park. It's just not often enough. And on the base that Salah's a little bit older, they haven't really had anyone replace the likes of Sadio Mane since he's gone. Like, not that level of player. They've had people putting in a shift every now and then, but I think he could have really great numbers this year and score a lot of pivotal goals if he can stay fit. Yeah. And the only reason I probably didn't go Verge is because I thought someone would say it, but I think he's just as important to what they can do. But I think Jota is a player who could surprise everyone if he stays fit.
Got to give 30 games. That's
sort of but it's just a massive if.
Yeah. Sort of...
Like, what's the percentage likelihood of that happening? Feels really low, but...
Maybe. You just hope something changes.
Yeah, it's just all soft tissue, eh? Like,
yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's sort of inevitable then.
Soft tissue's worse.
It's not like a knee or an ankle or something. It's literally just
it's not like it's like a big verge ACL or something. It's just like
next is City. And I've kept with my guns and tried to be a bit of continuity. I don't normally do this, but I went Kevin De Bruyne again. I think he might be player of the year, and I think he'll be the reason why City and Haaland both dominate this season. It just feels. I just got a feeling this year that he's just going to be that guy that's going to carry them through. Again, it's not the obvious Rodri. Rodri's the obvious one, but I don't want to be boring. So I've gone with De Bruyne because I think, this season will be massive for him. Go out in a high, then ship off to whoever wants to go after that. But I feel like we're looking at it, double digits in both stats and high number of assists this season. Yeah. He's already started on fire with that as well.
Yeah, I've got Rodri. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, obviously. You see when he plays, apart from his City's drunk day out, like in the FA Cup, you see when he plays, like, they don't lose. And it's as simple as that. Like, you can have all the other pieces to the puzzle, but the other pieces to the puzzle have shown if they don't play, City still win, which means Rodri is the most important player. Like, obviously, there are players that can, maybe there are players, like, if KDB's fit, I think they're better chance of winning the Champions League, but in terms of the Prem itself, I think it's all dependent on Rodri.
Yeah.
I went Haaland, so similar to you, I'm going to back up my big claims on him in the sense that, especially now that Alvarez is gone, he really is the only number 9. Like, there's nothing behind him now. Yeah. So, and the reality is, I think any player who is going to score 50 goals is pretty important. So,
you hope so.
The calls, the claims.
Across the other side of Manchester, I went Bruno Fernandes.
Me too.
As my player. Just because, and I'm still big on it because I don't think it hasn't actually happened yet. If Bruno plays the 10, which I don't think we've seen him play at all for the last 2 seasons, will actually be pretty decent, I feel like, because he's someone who, after my rant at the start of the video, if you're going against a team that's just set up like a normal first 45 minutes, when it's not a basketball game, who can break that line? Bruno Fernandes can, and like you said with Odegaard, like someone who can start the attack and get it going is Bruno Fernandes, and there doesn't have to be all those goals from the start. I just want to see him allow our players to be better, because when he's in the form he is, he's the captain. Everyone looks better around him. Like, if they cut final that dummy, like to set up Manu's goal. Like small things like that. When he's in his position where he can play in behind the striker, I think him and Zerski will work really well considering how deep Zerski drops. That's got goals and assists written all over it. So I feel like if he actually plays at the 10, get rid of Mount. I don't want to see Mount. Let him play there. Our team looks 10 times better. Doesn't mean we win more games, but we look better at least. Look much better within there.
I've got Martinez. I think he's very pivotal. When Martinez has played, United have played better. Obviously the loss on the weekend, but I still think that United played better football than I saw for 95% of last season, even in the loss against Brighton. Like, it's not, obviously it's a different Brighton, but it's not the easiest going away to Brighton. They usually do take a few scalps, and very easily the tables could have been turned on that game. And I'm not making excuses, but I just think that if Martinez plays, we see a better United. And there's other players that if they play or don't are very pivotal to United, but I don't think it changes the whole system. Like Martinez playing changes literally United's system pretty much, because we don't have that left-sided centre-back. He steps into the midfield. He plays a little bit like, not to the extent, but a little bit like the John Stones role.
Sometimes, yeah. When we're confident, he does, but when we're shitting ourselves, probably not.
I mean, Bruno, same reasons as you. Not going to say anymore.
Yeah. Fair enough. Nottingham Forest. I got my hipster hat on. I went with Murillo at the back. Won their player of the season last year. Best centre back. He does not belong at Forest. Way too good to be at Forest. 22 and looks like a 30-year-old experienced centre back. He'll get a move next season. But if they're going to be as well as they're flying now, they were solid defensive versus Bournemouth. Solid versus Southampton had one shot on target. Players like Murillo will be the difference for them. So he is my player, most important player.
Then we both went Morgan Gibbs White.
Yep.
Pretty
self-explanatory. He's probably their best player, I'd say.
I think he is.
I think he is.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be important. He had good patches last year, but can he now be more consistent?
Yeah, exactly the same thing.
Well, flat. Southampton. I went Flynn Downs. West Ham quality. Good last season for them on loan. Really good in the championship playoff. That team, it's very leaky in defence, and I think he'll have to shore up the midfield to try and hopefully keep it all together. With Russell Barton there, I don't know how they're going to go, but if they're going to be better defensively, Flynn Downs has to be better in the middle of the park. So
I went Adam Armstrong.
The guy.
Ooh.
You went the same or not?
Ben Bertrand Diaz.
Okay.
So pretty much the same probably idea.
My more reasoning was more so as in, can you go on like the bit of a Mitrovic arc? Where came back, cold. Because he did nothing the first time he came up. He's back here now.
Can he back 20?
People had a lot of expectation last time. Now the expectation has gone down. Can he just start firing? And that's a bit of upside, I think. There, a bit of a narrative. So I've gone Armstrong.
Yeah, I've gone Diaz. Six goals in 14 games last season, coming in January. Can he move that form now to Southampton?
Yeah.
I think it'll be really important. And if he can continue that form probably looks like he scores 12 goals. And 12 goals for Southampton up top as when they're playing two number 9s, hopefully you get some output at least from Armstrong.
Yeah.
Will be very, very, very important to them securing.
They should score a fair chunk. I hope they score a fair chunk of goals. They play like it at least. Tottenham, I went Dom Solanke. Comes in for big money. They haven't had a striker. It makes the team look better as well because Richarlison comes off the bench. He sort of can get at the more tired defenders. I was thinking about Van de Ven defensively, but I feel like mine doesn't need goals. They need to score. We saw with the opening match week, he missed some big chances. They lost that game. He's their big signing. He's their number 9. So I feel like he has to play and play well for them to do well this season. So
have you gone, brother?
I've got Maddison.
I went Maddison as well.
Yeah, I think we just look at their season last season. When Maddison played, so much more creation, so much more movement.
I think he's more irreplaceable as well on that team.
Yeah,
there's no one that can do their role, do his role. Like they end up playing like Kulusevski at the 10, or playing 3 deeper line midfielders.
Like Son played striker last night, so it's like, or 2 nights ago. So it's like
you can still fit it.
Yeah, and they have Richarlison too, and prime Timo Werner. So I just think Maddison's more irreplaceable.
Yeah, well, definitely, because you look, they either do 2 things. They play Kulusevski there, who's not a 10, or they end up playing Højbjerg.
Like a Pap Sar.
And then pushing forward Pap Sar. And like, mate, it's
just not the same look.
Yeah, you might as well play 3 DMs. There's no... they're all right when they're the last man coming into the box as an 8 or a 6, because it's a whole different game. But when you're that player that actually has to create league,
facing the fans,
spin, hit that ball, that diagonal, it's
the dart thrower.
Yeah, exactly.
West Ham's basically the same reason. I went full Cook. I still have big raps in him, and my call might not turn out because he actually needs to start to play to actually score goals. But I think he's gonna be massive for them. They've cried out for number 9.
Did we miss Newcastle?
Did we miss Newcastle?
Yes, we did.
We'll just do it after West Ham.
You would have to West Ham. I can't read. Yeah, I think he's been massive in this season. Goal scorer. They're still rubbish with Antonio up top. And I feel like he brings a bit of Champions League quality to this team that sort of needs that someone who's at least been in that league. So, full Cook for me.
Or like full Cook, Rodriguez.
Yeah.
I think both players are like players that need to take West Ham to the next level. And I'm very, very strong on West Ham having a really good season this season. And I don't think they're going to do that I don't think they're going to do that with the squad they had last season. Although they were quite good, I think it's now those players that are going to fill the gaps, have the extra depth. And Rodriguez has looked really good so far. He's a great player.
Yep.
And I think he can really take them to that next level because they're at that level now. When you even look at a performance like last night, you go, yeah, it's a good performance, but that's a performance that gets you maybe 9th, 10th.
Not up there in
Not
Europe.
pushing top 6.
Yeah.
And I think he's the type of player that really can. He's got a lot of quality and he's a different type of midfielder to what they probably have.
Yeah, a bit more dynamic than the rest of them. Yeah.
I went Areola.
The keeps.
So yeah, I know it's a bit of a rogue shout, and they probably have more. They definitely have better players, right? But my thing with Areola is that, so he's 31 now.
Ooh, I don't know how. Bloke feel like he's like 24.
The wonder kid still.
He's 31. Fabianski's 39, and for somehow Areola was getting dropped last year, and just couldn't get his spot back against a 38-year-old. So it's just like Fabianski, man, should not be getting anywhere near that pitch. He's 39. I know he's been a solid keeper, but West Ham have lacked defensive stability now for a couple of years. They need that goalkeeper position locked away, throw the key out.
Yeah.
That needs to be the absolute staple in their defensive makeup, and then build from there. They need to get some consistency in that back 4, back 5, and I think Areola needs to just. He started well, I think. He made a good save, I think, against Palace, but needs to just solidify himself in that position, and for the sake of West Ham, get some continuity back there.
Absolutely, it's a fair shout. We'll go to Newcastle. The fact that I can't read. I went Bruno Guimaraes.
Yeah, same.
Pretty
All
obvious.
same,
The
yeah.
cog.
No, I didn't go Bruno.
You didn't?
Yeah.
I changed.
I was close to putting Tonali in because we haven't seen him and he could make a difference for them.
Yeah.
But Bruno Guimaraes is the best player on that team and he makes things happen for them.
Just on the basis of
Pretty
the
much
fact
the same.
that he started pretty slow, Isaac.
Yeah.
So I just think, I had a high expectation of this guy coming to this year, and Anthony Gordon, he showed that last night.
Yeah.
Isaac got an assist against, again, when they had 10 men against in the first week. So, look, it's only been 2 games. They had a red card in one of them for pretty much the entire game, but I think it's going to be really important for them to achieve Champions League success this year.
That's fair enough. And Wolves had Cunha.
I didn't.
Oh, did you? Okay, I thought it'd be Clint
Yeah,
again.
I didn't have Cunha.
He's their best player in their team by a long
Best
way.
player, and the reason I put him in wasn't just because he's the best player. Or obviously that's part of it, but Neto leaving, you saw Cunha's output from last season.
Yeah.
Now can he
Tenfold.
bridge that gap between himself and Neto? Even when Neto didn't play last year, it was Cunha. He needs to continue to be that man because they don't have another man now. It is Cunha or a bust pretty much.
He needs to take his chances as well. I feel like he's someone who can miss some big
Yeah,
chances. And I
definitely.
feel like he needs to be that clinical number 9 this year.
Nah, I put the shit house in mascara.
Fan favourite.
So,
Wow.
so
Always dodgy, man.
Oh, for last night.
no, after the week before, man. But honestly, with no Max Kilman, I think his involvement's going to be a little bit more it's going to have to be a bit more than people anticipate. So
It is.
So as you said, they only had 1.5 XG, so I'm pretty sure it's all on the keeper. But I've gone mascara. I think I don't know. I just wanted to put him in because he's absolute shit out.
Bro's a strange man. He's a very strange man.
He's a strange one. Should have scored last night, man.
Yeah.
Should have scored.
That game had almost like a 7-5 feel. It should have been so many.
It was a strange
goals.
game.
It was such a weird game. We'll get into that in a bit. Quickly, in the next, Spurs 4, Everton 0. We sort of talked a little bit about that already.
Yep.
Spurs got their job done. Everton just looked rubbish.
Yep.
Then you guys played Aston Villa 0, Arsenal 2.
It's been our bogey game historically.
Talk about ticking boxes like we said last year.
Yeah,
You said
yeah.
to me
So
yesterday.
last year, I put some out.
Boxes out.
The absolute staple this year was Arteta has to get back at Unai. And getting a 2-0 away from home isn't much. Can't get much better than that.
Bit of a worrying start though. They did have their chances. You look at Ollie Watkins.
The highlight reel, there's a few.
Skews it one way.
There's a few Ollie Watkins chances which he misses, and I get it. They should probably both go in.
Last year they got in.
Yeah, no, I agree. And last year, but look, you need a bit of luck, man. Like you need some luck.
Oh, definitely.
And
It gets the confidence up now, which is a huge thing.
Yeah, and I said this last week. I don't want to peak in January. Sorry, I don't want to peak in August, right? Or I don't want to peak in Jan. I want to peak in April and May.
Yeah, end of season. Last 5 games.
Don't get me wrong. You want to bank points, but yeah, you want to be hot at the tail end of the season. And I'm okay to scrap a result here and there. As long as we're scraping results, I don't really care. Like it's the 3 points that I care about, and I still think we looked good.
I was say, it wasn't a scrape really though. That's the thing.
But as in, it wasn't clinical.
It wasn't clear cut, easy. Right? Yeah,
no.
It looks better than the reality of what the score sheet looks better than what the game was. We should have conceded, but David Raya, another massive takeaway from the first 2 games. He's made 2 banging saves now in the first 2 weeks, and for anyone who actually still doubted that position, like don't get me wrong, Ramsdale should probably never have been dropped. Right, it was incredibly stiff on him in the first place signing David Raya. The reality is, this guy has now proven in the last 2 weeks that he is capable of doing world-class things. He's not just there to fill the goal and play it from the back and stay concentrated for more than 15 minutes. He's there to make world-class saves and to do that, to keep us in the game from an Ollie Watkins header which would go in 99% of the time. Pulls off a great save, and mate, still haven't conceded this year. Yep. Things are looking good still.
I gotta say, like I said to you yesterday, he's a world-class saving keeper, and I said it's a bit hard.
The opportunity last year.
Yeah, and if you don't have opportunity, we say with Edison a lot, and we probably we're so harsh on Edison.
We are really harsh on Edison.
But that's just the way it is at City. Edison. Everyone's so good that you get the one shot, like you always say, you get the one shot. It's 4-0. He doesn't make the save. It looks bad on him. Yeah. Same with Raya last season. Like I still remember when this podcast started, I said Tottenham should get David Raya because he made that fantastic triple.
We all said this.
Yeah. I remember at second last game of the season, 2 years ago, he made a triple save, point blank range at the Tottenham Stadium. Okay, that's him. He's going to go there. They've seen what he can do. And there was the big get that Arsenal got him. We all forget that at Brentford, he was a shot-stopping keeper that sprung their attack to the ball playing was still there, but it came secondary to his shot-stopping. So he's got that in the bag. And now that he's having the ability to show it off a bit more, you get that confidence, you get that feel back. And it's pretty hard to get shots on you. We've got Saliba and Gabriel in front of him, Ben White and Tommy Asu and the lot.
And the rest of them, mate.
Yeah,
we're stacked
defensively. It's I know there were 2 big chances, but really outside of that, I don't think they created much.
Yeah, no, they didn't.
I'm still very this defense was ridiculous. I still tried. It's not like they were bad. I think it's actually a really good result. 2-0. I know you can say it looks good on you guys, but it's still a really good performance. And
it's a massive result because it's not like they haven't had the fixture congestion yet.
No,
which we were expecting to to make them struggle more this year. They're still fresh. Yeah. They haven't had that many players go away for the summer, so it's that they were fit and firing.
Morgan Rogers is playing good football. Anana's cooking in the midfield as well.
But it's just it is a massive result for us, and I was incredibly happy about that.
Meant to hurdle jump there. Last night, Bournemouth won, Newcastle won again. Dodgy handball not given. That could have been the winner right at the end. Newcastle probably take the point in the end and go home. Good assist from Gordon to whip that to back stick.
They do need to get moving.
Yeah,
Newcastle.
Need to kick in the gear.
I don't think Eddie Howe's going to get
a
length of time to make it work. I think there's a bit of anticipation building at Newcastle now to
see.
Take that next
Is
step.
it United or is it Newcastle who end up in that hole? Because both teams are very similar.
They both could. I mean, it's the reality. Chelsea are looking good.
Yeah.
Liverpool are looking good.
Yeah.
Spurs are looking good. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of competition for that. In that top half of the table now.
So straight away, you can't be
yeah. Especially against West Ham have dropped points now. Sorry, Newcastle have dropped points now. Right? Who'd they verse first week? Red card.
Southampton. They won that game 1-0.
Luckily, I'd say.
Lucky. But then last night they would have banked on 3 points, full squad.
That's what I mean.
11 versus 11 sort of thing. I know they're missing some players, but Bournemouth are good at home. But if you're Newcastle, similar to United, you can't be losing or drawing at these sort of places. You have to be winning with the competition around you. So that'll be a thing to follow. Then we'll just quickly on the Liverpool game before we do the Chelsea one. 2-0 to them. Clinical enough, one-way traffic. Flecken was fantastic in goal. Could have been 4 or 5 in the end. Liverpool getting the job done. And then the final game last night, which we all watched, it was talking about basketball game. This was a basketball game. Wolves 2, Chelsea 6. Madueke called Wolverhampton a shithole and then went and dunked on them and scored 3 goals.
Sorry, wrong account.
If you're going to talk the talk, you're going to walk the walk. And he
walked
did
it.
just
Non
that.
Zeno. Tell me non Zeno.
Cold.
Fair, because it was one of those performances where he was either going to have a banger or he was going to like produce like a 9, 10 out of 10 or he was going to produce literally 2. So he had the latter. So
Yeah, I mean, my big thing for this game was that look what happens when you could put Cole Palmer back in the middle of things. He was just unsighted last week, and it was disappointing to watch against City because you wanted to see what he was capable of.
Yeah, he had to
If you're in Kunku, I'd be a little bit concerned because he came in as a big money signing when he was injured, and then he got injured again.
Yeah, Bundesliga player
barely touched the park last year. I think he played like 1 game or something. So it's like
barely played.
Yeah, the reality is that's Cole Palmer's position. Top goal and assists in the league. I think.
Yeah.
Like playing there, so you're gonna have to work your way into the system now. Figure out where you can get in because it's not going to be down the middle really. But it was. I think if you're a Chelsea fan, despite, as I said at the start of the show, the XG was against you.
That's so strange.
Which is quite strange.
Madueke's goals were ridiculously tight angles. I'll give that part of it, but still.
But I think you're starting to see now that squad, shape into an 11, right? So, and it's a good 11 on paper.
Yeah, definitely.
Like
it's just about them now getting some
$1.5 billion
continuity.
later.
Getting some continuity now, not like having too many injuries that they're flipping the squad too much, and really just trying to find some form with each other. Like you mentioned Fofana before, like bloke hasn't played in 18 months, and even when he did play 18 months ago, he only played 15 Premier League games. And there's other players, but now they just got to get that squad. And Maresca might have to take a little bit of pain because there might be players that might play a bad game, but you can't just go because you've got a big squad and go, I'm dropping him now, and just doing this constant cycle that they've done in the past.
Like I had a few things in my head like jotted down. Like one, Lavia gets injured again, which allowed Gallagher in the middle because Gallagher would not have played in the middle unless Lavia got injured. Yeah. So that's the first thing. Second thing, Madueke was supposed to be sold last week. Now he's gone and scored a hat-trick for you and he scored in the Conference League. That's another thing as well.
Did Lavia get injured?
Lavia got injured. He missed.
Gallagher's signed.
Yeah, right. Did I say Gallagher?
Yeah.
Also Madueke. So Madueke.
Yeah,
Madueke's supposed to be sold. So he scored in the Conference League and he scored the hat trick there.
Yeah.
And then also Enzo Maresca, like this is sort of what we saw with Leicester at the start of last season, which was they scored a shit ton of goals, but they had shit goals as well. And as much as it was a great 6-2, as I said earlier, they could have actually easily conceded 4 or 5. So there's still a worry that this team still needs to gel. And obviously everyone's going to look at the score and be like, oh, Chelsea are back. Yeah. But there's a long way to go. And I'm still big on Enzo, I'm not really a big fan of Enzo starting. I'd go Lavia and Caicedo and allow Cole Palmer the freedom of all of that and let those two sort of sit in. To get Enzo last night, he was good in the press, but I still think Lavia, we saw in the first one, was fantastic. Caicedo, you can't really drop him. He's probably the most consistent out of that bunch. And you want Palmer in the middle. Then where does Nkunku go? Like, does he play the false 9 or the number 9? Jackson was okay. There's a lot of things still not right. I think as much as everyone's going to say, oh, great week for Chelsea, 6-2, we're back. Yeah, I think next week we've got to watch it carefully again as well because does Cole Palmer go back to the left if Lavia's fit again? Does Enzo still play? Will they still ship goals? Because I was surprised at XG, but it makes sense. They probably could have had 3 or 4 balls. So they still worry about how it's all going to.
I think Palmer he just needs to stay down.
Surely Maresca's learnt from.
You just got, I think
you can't be that.
Well, he performed in that 10 position. Didn't perform
3
on
goals
the
and
left.
assist. Yeah,
it's showing very much similarities between England Foden and City Foden.
Genuinely, exact same thing. Do you think then Nkunku just gets a part of the piss off squad, or does
I don't think that's what happens to Nkunku. I think it's just that
could play a bit of down the middle.
He's just gonna you're gonna have to try and work around him. Or does
he's going
to try and work around the team rather. So it's like I think he'll get minutes, but and Cole Palmer might play less minutes in the Prem this year, like, slightly less.
Yeah.
Comes off at 70, moves to the right,
Yeah.
at 70, and Nkunku comes on. But
And Felix came on and scored
yeah,
a
and
goal.
João Felix. So they still have so much going on. You're not wrong, but
Interesting watch next week.
I think Nkunku is part of the plans, but not
Not central.
an essential part. Yeah,
An essential part.
yeah.
Fair play. Good win though for Chelsea. That's what they need.
Win's a win, mate.
I know, feel for their fans, so fair enough that you got something in return.
They couldn't score last year, so you take that.
What's this?
They couldn't score last
Oh
year,
yeah,
so
they'll
you
take
that.
any goals they can get. We're going to finish off with the last 5 minutes here with just the combined 11 Liverpool, Manchester United, the big game coming up this weekend. And we're going with the combined 11 where you get half and half from each because otherwise it'd be...
Is it on availability?
I don't know if it would be so. Yeah, I've done it on available.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would be as much as you think. I think it'd be majority Liverpool, but you probably still get three.
That's about it. That's
Or I think Martinez gets in.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if I would have
put.
put Zersky in, to be honest.
You'd start... Oh, but then you put Jota. Okay, sorry.
Jota,
Yeah,
put
sorry,
Jota,
I didn't think of that last night. All right. You know what? Let's just run through our teams individually and we'll just compare the pair.
All right.
I'll start us off. So I went Alisson in goal, Andy Robertson, Van Dijk with Lissandro and Trent Alexander-Arnold as a back four. Kobe, McAllister midfield with Bruno at the 10, Alejandro Garnacho off the left, Zertsky down the middle, and Mo Salah off the right. So 6 Liverpool and 5 United players in that one.
Okay. I've gone Alisson in goal.
Yep.
Dalot right back.
He's doing it. Are you doing a free cuff? Me too.
No, I've done it, but I remember it. Dalot right back.
Yeah.
Lissandro
Yeah.
centre back with VVD.
Yep.
And Robbo
left back, yeah.
McAllister, Manu, and Bruno.
Yeah.
And then up top, I've got Jota down the middle.
Yeah, okay.
Garnacho on the left.
And Salah right.
And Salah on the right.
So we got... Our difference was I put
Trenton, our only difference was...
I put Trent in and then you put...
Oh, no, and I put Jota in. That's the only
so that was our
difference
2
we've
change,
got,
yeah.
So my United players are
These two teams go for goalkeeper.
Martinez.
Yeah. Why
Bruno.
do you go for goalkeeper? Yeah.
No, because I don't think of my United players. I haven't got enough. Martinez, Bruno.
Garnacho. It's Garnacho.
Yeah, Garnacho.
Manu.
It's like Cobb.
Kobe.
4.
And
Dalot,
we'll
maybe?
go... Yeah,
We got Mazzaria left back.
Juju.
Or Dalot at left back then.
I put...
Just put Dalot at left back. He plays
I
it.
put Martinez, Manu, Fernandez, Garnacho and Zertsky.
Yeah, see, I want Jota.
Yeah, we'll go Dalot at
I'll
left
go
back.
I'll go Dalot left back. Yeah, Dalot left back. So,
Trent right back.
Alisson, Trent, Martinez, VVD, Dalot,
Yeah.
then Kobe,
Do
and
you want Alexis or do you want...
we'll go McAllister and Bruno.
Yeah.
And then Garnacho, Jota, Mohamed Salah.
So your teams are basically the same and then mine's slightly different.
It's pretty much the
It's
same.
very
You've just
same,
gone with a traditional number 9 ball, even though he's not really a traditional.
They're all 9.5s. Yeah.
Jota's a baller, that.
But yeah, I think you had to put Jota in. It was like either put Jota there or Jota off the left.
Yeah,
but I'd rather have Garnacho in the team than Xerxes in the team. So
That's fair enough. I just wanted
A manager?
fullbacks.
Oh,
Well,
Ten
Arne-
Hag.
Arne-
It's Baldy.
Nah,
It's Baldy.
I'd go on a slot.
just shoot them both.
I'm obviously going on a slot. Are you kidding me? Ten Hag's that trash.
We haven't seen that much from Arne yet.
I'm happy with what I've seen. I'm pretty happy with what I've seen with them.
I mean, you couldn't be much happier.
As my prediction is,
Yeah.
it's firing already. I'll get good.
Where'd you
in
put
the last 8 games. I'm third.
No.
I did the exact same as last
I had
season.
Newcastle third. Ooh.
Well, I had Palace 10th, and they're going to be like last.
Yeah, Brighton getting relegated.
Yeah, that's not looking good.
I'm pretty sure I'd Villa third or if Villa third, United fourth, I think.
God, this United, I wanted to come home again. Good winners and losers to finish it off the last 2 minutes here. I went Wino, Enzo Maresca. The pressure's off him for a little bit now. It's gone to Ten Hag this week, so he's happy with that. Good result. And I think for the reason we said before, I think he's winning because he's found out where Palmer works best, even though he should have known that, but inadvertently through Lavia going down. And then my loser was Ten Hag because the pressure instantly shifts from Maresca to him in 1 week. So he needs to focus on his substitutions and get his team right for Liverpool because that could be
Winner,
bad.
Arne slot.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't have had a better start to the league.
But Ten Hag is better though. I guess.
Yeah. Could have had a better start to the league. Like I feel
Well,
like straight away any pressure that there was, which I don't think there was, but it's just straight off him. He's played well as well. It's not just getting the results. And then loser is Harry Maguire. I'll tell you why. Like bloke picked up his form last season, played really good match day 1, and then just reverted back to his old ways. I can't see a world where he starts now against Liverpool. Probably could have if he continued because I feel like it was his spot.
Ideas, yeah.
It was his spot until he basically
spot to
stuffed up.
lose. And he
Yeah,
lost
until
it.
he's stuffed up. Because that's just how Ten Hag is. Ten Hag makes players stuff up their spot.
It's a weird
Yeah, it's a
style of
weird
management.
system,
Don't
but
rate it.
yeah.
My winner, Mikel Arteta.
He's got
It's a
the
big one.
postman.
I don't normally do this, but I've gone a loser in the same game. I've got Emi Martinez, mate. Oh,
grim.
classic.
Pretty grim.
Not save from Thomas Partey. So, yeah, nah. In all seriousness, Mikel, I think he would have been pretty nervy going into that one.
Yeah.
You know, he's pretty much done over every other manager in the league. Just hasn't been able to get one on Unai Emery. So there we go, 2-0.
There you go. I'm just looking at next week's massive games. You guys have got Brighton early on. I think it'll be an interesting game.
We're at the 7:30, yeah.
Yeah, you're the early one. Then on Saturday night, West Ham hosting City. Never easy to go to West Ham.
Okay.
Chelsea, Palace, Newcastle, Spurs, United, Liverpool, all on Sunday.
So you guys are the 11:30 fixture, yeah?
Yeah, always is.
Talk about a super Sunday. Tell you what,
That's a big Sunday.
if Palace
I'm
can
actually
turn
keen
up-
for that West Ham City game, though.
I'm keen for
so
that as
much
well.
hype around West Ham.
And West Ham always consider themselves good at home.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
like, that's a
and
chance.
it's supposed to be a little bit more solid defensively.
Yeah.
So
We'll
that's
see
a
if
good one.
Tanibo starts though. I remember
See if
Palace,
Fulkrug starts. I want to see Fulkrug start for once.
I know.
It's going to be a very interesting week of football
We'll
coming
put
up.
Brighton in their place. Don't stress. We're at home. We're going to batter them, man.
3, 4, 5, 6.
I'm going to go
8.
4-0. 4-0.
Sorry.
Keep the clean sheets intact.
Only some teams can beat other
4-1.
teams 8-2.
Wow, we're going that far back. I don't know if you can remember.
We were alive.
No, we weren't.
Yeah,
We weren't.
Oh,
we were
wait,
obviously
no,
alive,
wait.
but
Oh, it was like, yeah, I think it was.
but
That was like Danny Welbeck days, man. That was like early days. That was like Danny Welbeck as a kid days.
Yeah,
Long
what was
time
it?
ago.
2010,
That guy Wells.
11?
Yeah. Okay, so it wasn't that long ago. Yeah, fair enough.
it's still
Um,
some time.
There we go. There's the week. Thank you, boys, coming on.
Yeah.
Good lists. Good predictions for next
Good
week.
segment.
Good segments. We're going well. The segments every week this week. I promise this year we're something every week. Big week to come up. Join me Thursday with Nathan in the morning. Massive week to wrap up there. We've got the predictions. So keep running the prediction numbers up. We're going to road to 1K.
They go crazy.
We've got the road to 1K. And rinse me all you want. I'll keep doing road predictions if I get rinsed for it. Thanks for coming on, guys. We'll see you all next week. Until next time, guys. See you later.